Be your own boss. Proven business model. A path to financial freedom. That's the pitch. Here's the structure. You provide the capital, anywhere from $350,000 to $2.7 million. Your retirement, your house, your signature on a personal guarantee. You provide the labor, managing daily operations. They take a percentage of every dollar you bring in, whether you profit or not. In ancient Rome, this arrangement had a name, nexum, a contract where you pledged your body as collateral against debt. Upon default, your creditor could chain you, force you to labor, sell you into slavery. McDonald's and Subway don't chain anyone. They don't have to. The modern version is more elegant. Two of the largest franchise systems on earth. Combined, approximately 75,000 locations. Two different models, similar economics, and neither company is what it appears to be. In the 1950s, McDonald's president Harry Sonneborn explained it to Ray Kroc directly. You're not in the hamburger business. You're in the real estate business. The only reason we sell 15-cent hamburgers is because they are the greatest producer of revenue from which our tenants can pay us rent. Tenants, not owners, not entrepreneurs. Tenants. That word has history. After the Civil War, plantation owners used the same word for sharecroppers. You're not buying a business, you're signing a lease. McDonald's owns approximately 56% of the land and 80% of the buildings where franchisees operate. An estimated $42 billion in real estate. Some analysts call it the fifth largest landlord on earth. Franchisees are tenants working property they'll never own. Sharecroppers worked land they'd never own. They paid 50 to 66% of their crops to the landlord. McDonald's franchisees pay 4 to 5% royalties, 4% advertising fees, and percentage rent of 8.5 to 15% or higher. Combined, 12 to 20% of gross revenue before covering food, labor, or operations. The key word is gross. These fees come off total sales, not profits. Operating at a loss? You still pay. Sharecroppers owed their share, whether the harvest was good or bad. The landlord ate first, and McDonald's may not even have the highest fees. McDonald's franchise segment reportedly operates at an 84% margin. For every dollar franchisees pay, McDonald's keeps approximately 84 cents. In 2024, franchisee-related revenue reached $15.7 billion rent alone, an estimated $10 billion. Subway took a different path. No real estate, but among the highest ongoing fees in quick-service restaurants. 8% royalties plus 4.5% advertising. That's 12.5% of gross sales, among the highest rates in the industry. And unlike McDonald's, Subway's franchise disclosure document explicitly states the company has unlimited rights to compete with you. No exclusive territory. They can open another Subway across the street from yours. In company towns, miners face the same math. The company owned everything: housing, stores, schools, water. Wages came as scrip, redeemable only at the company store. Prices ran 4 to 25% above market rates. You couldn't escape because scrip was worthless anywhere else. 16 tons captured it. I owe my soul to the company store. The language changed. The structure didn't. Franchisees must purchase from approved suppliers. FTC filings have documented franchisors receiving rebates from these mandatory purchases. One filing describes suppliers siphoning off monies that would otherwise make a significant portion of the franchise's profit margin. The company store is now the approved vendor list. The structure persists. The British Parliament recognized company scrip as exploitation. The Truck Act of 1831 banned paying workers in company currency. The principle, forced purchasing at inflated prices, is exploitation. That was 2 centuries ago. The structure survived. It just changed forms. Both McDonald's and Subway have enforcement mechanisms that sharecroppers never faced. McDonald's uses the lease, 20-year agreements where McDonald's controls renewal. Non-renewal means eviction from a business you invested millions to build. As one franchisee association noted, if you do not accept our agreement, someone else will. There's always another aspiring franchisee willing to sign. The landlord has leverage. The tenant has debt. McDonald's enforcement is structural. Subway's is procedural. Mandatory renovations add pressure. Experience of the future remodels have cost franchisees between $160,000 and $750,000 per restaurant. Dining room remodels may be required every 10 years, even though, as one operator noted, only 7% of our guests actually eat inside the restaurant. Refuse the renovation? Risk non-renewal. The landlord sets the terms. Subway uses a different enforcement tool, the operations manual. A New York Times investigation documented how Subway's 350-page manual contains over 3,000 possible violations. Cucumbers sliced too thick. Wrong bathroom soap brand. A single burned-out light bulb. Each violation can trigger penalties or termination. The investigation detailed how development agents, regional overseers, who receive up to 1/3 of franchisee royalties while often operating competing Subway locations in the same territory, allegedly used field consultants to find or manufacture violations. Former consultant Rebecca Husler described herself as a hitman. In 2017, according to franchise disclosure documents, Subway initiated 702 arbitration actions against franchisees. McDonald's initiated one. Subway's rate, 29 actions per 1,000 franchisees. McDonald's, Dunkin', Pizza Hut, Burger King, and Wendy's combined, 1.4. McDonald's doesn't need to sue. The lease does the work. The enforcement options are ancient. Roman creditors had similar options. After 60 days in chains, they could sell the debtor into slavery, execute him, or, if multiple creditors held claims, the 12 tables permitted them to divide the debtor's body. Modern franchise agreements are less violent but structurally familiar. Personal guarantees put franchisees' homes, retirement accounts, and personal assets at risk. Business failure doesn't release you. The guarantee typically survives. Non-compete clauses extending 3 or more years prevent failed franchisees from using their own experience. You sign voluntarily. Leaving voluntarily is another matter. And sometimes the pressure isn't in the contract, it's in the promotion. Subway's $5 foot-long promotion illustrates the dynamic. Analysis showed production costs of approximately $5.37 per foot-long, meaning franchisees operated at negative margins on the promoted price. Over 400 franchisees signed a petition opposing the promotion. When corporate launched a subsequent 2 for $10 offer, despite 75% of surveyed franchisees opposing it, operators filed FTC complaints alleging they were bullied into honoring a promotion that is unprofitable to them. Corporate benefits from volume. Franchisees bear the margin pressure. The result? Subway declined from approximately 27,000 U.S. locations in 2015 to 19,500 in 2024. Nearly 7,600 stores gone in less than a decade. The franchisor survived. The franchisees didn't. The industry tells a different story. The franchise industry long cited a 92-95% success rate. In 2005, the International Franchise Association sent a formal letter asking franchisors to stop using this statistic. It had been thoroughly debunked. Dr. Timothy Bates of Wayne State University found that after 4 years, approximately 65% of franchises survived compared to 72% of independent businesses. Franchising carried more risk, not less. Franchisees invested 5 times more capital on average, $500,000 versus $100,000 for worse outcomes. Sharecroppers invested their labor and faced worse odds than independent farmers. The parallel holds, and the incentives make it worse. SBA loan data shows franchise default rates of 28% compared to 16% for overall SBA loans. Between 2010 and 2018, according to congressional analysis, 274,807 franchise outlets closed, while 353,785 opened. For roughly every 4 franchises that opened, 3 closed. The economics create perverse incentives. Franchisors may earn $30,000, $44,000 per new territory sale. The same territory might generate only $28,800 in royalties over 3 years. The math can favor churn over long-term operator success. When sharecroppers failed, the landlord found new tenants. When franchisees fail, the franchisor resells the territory. History shows how these systems end. The Romans eventually recognized the problem. The Lex Poetilia of 326 BCE abolished nexum after public outrage over documented abuses. A young debtor named Gaius Publilius had been chained to pay his father's debts. When his creditor abused him, he ran wounded into the street. The resulting outcry led the Senate to act. The principle they established. However consensual the original agreement, certain arrangements constitute exploitation. Sharecropping was eventually recognized as exploitation. Company towns were regulated out of existence. Roman debt bondage was abolished 23 centuries ago. Franchising is marketed as the American dream. The chains are in the contract. The bondage is in the fees. The pattern is ancient. Sharecroppers worked land they didn't own and paid 66% to landlords who controlled the books. Miners owed their souls to stores that set the only prices. Romans signed voluntary contracts that became perpetual bondage. McDonald's franchisees invest up to $2.7 million into buildings they'll never own, paying 12-20% of every dollar to a landlord who controls their lease. Subway franchisees pay among the highest fees in the industry, while corporate retains unlimited rights to compete with them directly. 75,000 operators work under these 2 systems, but McDonald's and Subway aren't outliers. According to the International Franchise Association, more than 800,000 franchise establishments operate in America under similar structures. The companies call them owner-operators. History suggests another term may apply. They're running plays that are centuries old. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it, and you can't be trapped by it. Subscribe. The history they don't teach is the history that protects you. Position accordingly.